when it comes to taxation, where do you, and maybe you have an example of this, like we'll just take a hypothetical business owner, right? Somebody owns their own widget manufacturing company. Where is the, oh yeah, this is definitely in the letter of the law. This is a loophole. This is definitely the gray area. You better be ready to defend this in an audit versus like, no, bro, this is just fraud. We can't do this, right? It's like I'm thinking, let me give you an example. I'm thinking of this financial planner that I know, and he was wildly successful financial planner, but he also wholesaled products, right? So it's like, not only did he have his own book of financial planning clients, he was like an authorized representative for a mutual fund company, and he would go out and he would get other financial planners to basically use that investment product, right? So he was constantly out whining and dining and golfing. And I know for a fact, I won't say what company he worked for. I know for a fact he got audited. And one of the things that came up was all the strip clubs that he wrote off. And he's like, look, man, that's
what my clients like.
Yeah, this is my business development. I take a bunch of rich financial planners out for dinner, golf, drinks, cigars, strip clubs. And the next day I saw them such a good time, they sign on the contract to be an exclusive vendor of XYZ mutual fund company. That is a effing business expense.
100%.
And okay, you said 100%, but like I think a lot of tax preparers would be like, oh no, I'm not playing that game. Like, you can't write that off. That's not a branded t-shirt. That's not office supplies. That's like, that's like Little Darlings on Las Vegas Boulevard. That doesn't qualify. So maybe you can pick a few examples and just walk us through like, hey, this is totally cool. This is loophole gray area. And this is like, no way, I'm not losing my license or going to jail as your tax professional for this bullshit.
I'll try to cap on those because those are really good points. I was laughing as you're like breaking down the different sections because you run into each one all the time as a tax professional, right? Or even like I'm sure in your field where someone is coming and they have like a lot of income, but they can't really show where it's coming from or something like that, right? So
this is my favorite. I'll give you my normal example. Hey Scott, I want to buy a house. Okay, cool. What do you want to buy? $1.5 million house. Okay, cool. How much you putting down? 20%. Okay, cool. So you got $300,000 down for your $1.5 million. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, what do you do for a living? Oh, I direct commercials. I have a exclusive contract with Lexus and Honda, and I do all of their high-end commercials. So I'm a commercial director. I'm like, cool. You're not a videographer, an editor. You have no equipment. No, just me. I just show up. I direct the commercial. Okay, cool. So you basically have no overhead. How much did you make last year? I made about $600,000. Okay, cool. Send me over your tax returns. I get their tax returns where their corporation says top line number, 600,000, salary to officer, 36,000, because that's kind of the minimum the IRS says you have to pay yourself to like you're an employee. And then write off, net income, $28,000. So then I got to call the client. I'm like, hey, you got $36,000 in salary. You got $28,000, quote unquote, from your corporation on net profit. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, I'm not judging you. I hate the IRS just like everybody else. But what you're telling the IRS is that in order to make $600,000, you had $540,000 of expenses. And my underwriter has to look at that and say, oh, all he's got left over for his mortgage is $60,000 a year. You don't qualify for shit. And then they're mad at me.
At least not in the range they're talking about.
Yeah, it's like they're mad at me. And I'm like, hey, it's not my fault, dude. Based on your tax returns, you qualify to buy like a Honda Accord. That's about it. You don't qualify for a house. And I'm the bad guy that has to give them the reality check on what it is for all of the mortgage fraud or the tax fraud that they've been committing. Because I'm like, okay, I get it. Maybe you write off your cable bill. Maybe you write off that. There's some things as an entertainment person or as a director you can write off.
You appreciate it.
Yeah, you could depreciate, but come on, bro. You don't have $550,000 of expenses on $600,000 of income, or else that business would cease to exist. Yeah. So yeah, those are my experiences as a loan officer, and it drives me bonkers. So
no, it's 100% right.
Tell me where you play, and you're like, come on, man.
Yeah, just to jump off that really quickly, it's like the idea of that. This happens all the time, same right, and I can only tell when someone is bullshitting when they say, I want to buy a house. How much do I need to report?
Right.
That's the biggest red flag, right? It's like, I don't think I can even work with you at this point.
Right.
You might want to go somewhere else.
Totally.
But people don't understand that balance, right? Not paying Uncle Sam all of your check and then still being able to report because all the banking systems are using Uncle Sam's reports, which is tax returns and things of that nature. It's like, it doesn't matter if you have $1 million in your bank account, unless you're buying it cash. You need $100,000 in a loan. You still need to show that you have that income to do that last part. They don't care if you made $1 million or have $1 million in your bank account, right?
Yeah.
Can you finish paying off this loan, right?
Hey, this quick interruption is brought to you by me, Scott Groves, the host of the On the Edge podcast. This podcast is brought to you by me. I'm a loan officer who can help you with a mortgage in all 50 states across the United States. I also coach loan officers. So if you are a home buyer who's looking to get a mortgage, if you're a realtor who's looking to partner with an awesome loan officer, or if you're a loan officer looking for coaching, get in touch with me. It's those sources of revenue that allow us to produce this podcast and get out a new episode to you every week for the last couple of years. So if you're looking for a mortgage, if you're looking for a mortgage lender to partner with, or you're looking for a mortgage coach, I'm your guy. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.